Welcome to Exclusive with Taghreed Hussein here on Nile TV International. Tonight we'll be talking about the stock markets and how economic growth impacts the stock markets. As we all know that the world of stock markets has its secrets, has its ups and downs, and also its keywords. Stock markets enable companies to be traded publicly and to raise capital. The stock markets also promotes investment. The rising of the capital allows the companies to grow their businesses, to expand operations, and also to create jobs in the economy. And investor is considered to be the key driver for the economic trade and for the growth and for the sense of prosperity. In the same way that a city's infrastructure cannot be maintained without the adequate capital to support it, it's at the same time the stock market is also must be supported with adequate economic development, investment incentives as well, in order to maintain this sense of vibrancy. That's what the Egyptian economy has been witnessing throughout the last years by achieving sustainable growth with the transition from dependence on imports to the orientation towards the exports, with the locally manufactured products that would become also very competitive abroad, and also with the incentives that the government is actually providing for foreign investment. Today, the government is doing a lot, providing incentives for foreign investors. Well, tonight on this special episode of Exclusive, we'll be talking about the stock markets, and we have all the honor to have with us our global financial expert, Mr. Seif Hafez. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And with Mr. Seif, we'll be reading more about the world of stock markets, the incentives, how it has a very important effect on the global economy, and also the secrets and the fluctuations and more. So stay with us, and we'll be talking more about the relations also between the stock market development and economic growth, as we know that there is no doubt that there is an effect or impact of economic growth on the stock market and on the sense of development. The correlation, Seif, is there. The relation between the stock market development and economic growth, as it should be, we can see how is it reciprocal, as we could say.
Correct.
So to speak. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. If we actually are going to speak about the what happened, let's say, if we want to take it back to 2020, and to move forward to what happened now. In 2020, it has been the fastest crash ever in history because of the pandemic and whatever happened. And then afterwards, things had completely changed. It picked up. It was also the fastest pickup in the history of the world, which the stock market also went up 20 to 30% in 1 year, which is 2021. And the GDP also went up to 6.4% to 6.7% quarterly in Q1 and Q2. Which proves that there is definitely a correlation, like you had just mentioned, between the stock market and the economy.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Economic infrastructure may be compared, as we all know, to what we say like a foundation of a building, playing a supportive role, facilitating the sense of magnitude of productivity, the productive economic activities that is constituting actually the bulk of the economy itself. So definitely, we do have a link between economic infrastructure and economic growth.
Correct.
How do you see this sense of link?
Well, economic infrastructure is the basics of economic growth. Like, for example, if we think about a lot of countries, they need, first of all, in order to attract foreign investment into the country, they need to work on the economic infrastructure of the country itself, from highways to development of circulation, to a lot of facilities and investments and intensives for foreign investment to walk in. So I see, for example, like if you want to build a new city, it's super important to start by the infrastructure first. And this is where when we prepare the infrastructure and prepare the arena first, this is where a lot of foreign investment flows in. So absolutely, there's a huge correlation between both.
Yes, and this is what has happened in Egypt, Seif, concerning the new administrative capital and the new cities, the smart cities that Egypt is building today. Those are projects actually for the future generations. And this is what is happening. You prepare the infrastructure in order to be able to attract foreign investors to very important projects.
Absolutely. If we think about, for example, what happened in Egypt in the past 7, 8 years, we can see very well how the different circulation, the different highways that have been constructed in Egypt had attracted a lot of foreign investments into Egypt. Because think about it, why would I come in and invest in a country where it is going to be hard for me to go from point A to point B?
Right.
I need to have at least the basics in order to move forward, which is a very smart idea to start off first by building the infrastructure and prepare the arena for the foreign investment.
Definitely. Well, many kinds of factors are actually affecting the stock market, and we find that many global factors are there affecting the stock market today. Many challenges are also there to the global economy. Well, we see Seif in his YouTube channel, and I guess that through this venue, a very important venue where you have a link with the economists and global figures around the world talking economy and business, and talking also about this sense of what affects the stock markets and the global economy. I guess many questions arise in that.
Absolutely, that's an excellent actually question, because to be honest with you, 2022 is facing a headwind. There are a lot of challenges for 2022. The economy had picked up very fast in 2021, like very unexpected. It never happened in history before to go from zero to hero. All of a sudden, the US had printed a lot of money like never ever in the history of the United States. Incentives were walking in from all different walks of life to pick up the economy. 2022, we have a couple of challenges. Number one challenge, inflation. Prices are going so much up. Wages, for example, let's say wages in the US, for example, because this is where data is very transparent and this is the biggest economy around the world. In the US, it was $15 an hour. It went to $18 an hour. Now we're seeing $20 an hour for wages. These are prices that are a bit scary. The production actually now is below demand. The demand is so much fast and production cannot cope with the demand. And this had happened because of the pandemic. People started not going out for work. People started being afraid for themselves, and they didn't want to participate in the production process. And that had led to inflation.
Yeah, they didn't want also to throw money in time because of course, of maybe unexpected consequences due to COVID. So many challenges.
Of course, because it was a new thing for everybody.
Yeah.
So everybody kept like...
cautiously.
Cautiously, absolutely. And what's happening right now is that we face a lot of inflation. There are wages rising. Usually inflation, it's kept at its best when it's 2%. Inflation now, we're talking about 4, 5%. We have, of course, the monetary policy of the central banks and the federal is to raise interest rate. And when you raise interest rate, you pull the money in, and that's when you collect all the money inside because you raise interest rate, and you start pulling back some of the money that you had injected initially by the stimulus that happened in the US and a lot of different countries as well. But the only challenge that we have now by the interest rate rising is there's uncertainty in the market. And that affects the stock market, like you said. There's an uncertainty in the market. And that takes us to the point of, I see personally, 2022, there's a bit of a stagnation for a while to see what's going to happen. There's been like a drop, and then there has been a 2021, it went so much up. 2022 is a bit of a stagnation.
Yeah, flowing.
Yeah.
Well, I like the expression from zero to hero. Everybody wants to be pulled from the zero arena to the hero arena. And this is another question. I mean, I guess many questions are directed to you concerning the incentives. So what can I do to move from zero to hero?
Correct. Well, to be honest with you, it's there are a lot of companies right now, and a lot of countries, not only companies, that are not yet had reached the pre-pandemic level. And it's an excellent bargain time for certain companies that you can study their fundamentals, check out how they're working, how they're doing, and pick them up and stay with them. Long-term investment is the essence of being profitable, successful in the stock market. And in economy in general, you need patience in general. There's no way that you walk in and you want to be rich right away.
Definitely, and this is what has really happened, you know, and we had lots of interviews and exclusives with the magnates in the field. And whenever you ask them, they are always recalling how the road wasn't that rosy, how patience was quite needed, how perseverance is considered to be the magical word. Actually, it's not in the field of economy only, but in the different walks of life.
Exactly.
You know, it's, from zero to hero requires patience. Requires perseverance and not, of course, losing passion for the story.
Exactly.
Despite the setback from the emergence of the Delta variant back in 2021, the global economy is still on course to expand by a robust 5.1 percentage points in 2021, and in 2022 will likely bring, it seems, another year of above potential recovery growth. So this sense of recovery in 2022, what are the expectations? Well,
if we look at the world in general, we have different parts of the world that had not, for example, if we look at India, India is a country with a huge potential.
Yeah.
Until now, because of the pandemic and what happened there, they are still not yet recovered. Russia, because of the oil prices, as we speak, that had skyrocketed, and we're reaching 90 and 90 plus. So there's a huge potential also when it comes to Russia. I would say that there is still yet a lot to come and a lot of potential down there everywhere around the world, especially in the emerging market as well. And we're still waiting for that.
Yes, and we're still waiting in Egypt for more to come while this sense of perseverance is going on. Everyone is working hard for this country to feel the sense of quality of life, to feel that tomorrow is better. The president is working very hard, the government, everyone who loves Egypt. We all love our country. And we're really happy and feeling proud with the sense of achievements everywhere, and also in the field of infrastructure and economic recovery. Short break, we'll be back.
الواقع الاقتصادي في مصر تحدي ضخم ولازم نعترف بده ونقبله ونعالجه. اطلعوا كلموا الناس وقولوا الموقف الاقتصادي ايه. زي ما الثورة ليها إيجابيات، الثورات بيبقى ليها سلبيات على مجتمعاتها. الإرهاب والفساد كانوا عاملين إضافيين في إضعاف القدرة الاقتصادية لينا. مفيش اقتصاد يبقى مفيش تعليم، يبقى مفيش صحة، يبقى مفيش بنية أساسية. بنحاول نقلل الفجوة بين الموارد وبين المصروفات. كل القرارات الصعبة أنا لن أتردد ثانية إن أنا أخدها. لو هنعمل حاجة قبل ما هنعملها هنقول لكم عليها وأنتوا هتقفوا جنبي. الأمانة اللي أنتم حملتوهاني تجاه الوطن مش بس أنتوا اللي هتحاسبوني عليها، اللي هيحاسبني عليها ربنا قبلكم ثم التاريخ.
Welcome back. Similar to an amusement park roller coaster, the global economic trends have ups and downs, as we all know, and digitization is considered to be a global economic trend that have a direct impact on the economy of any country. Egypt, Seif, had paid, of course, as we are all following, great attention to digitization. And as we all know, digitization is considered to be the future. Picking up on that and the sense of digital transformation that we aspire, and how digital transformation in the world today is affecting the economy.
Yeah, of course. Nowadays, with the digital transformation, people are no longer want to deal with the bureaucracy of the old times. Now you can handle your operation, and you can handle a lot of things through your iPhone, through your phone, through your computer, through your tablet, which is encouraging a lot of investment and startups, by the way, into that field. And Egypt is really picking up very, very fast. And like I had always said, all eyes are on Egypt, because it is one of those spots in that area where you can find a lot of talented people, a lot of smart people, a lot of startups, and a lot of investments that's coming from the West and from different parts around the world that would like to go and inject money in the startups in order to develop the digitalization. I have to say that if we take it one step further and we think about digitalization from a global perspective, this is the future. There is no way back. People are moving forward towards digitalization. No one wants to have the burden of the old scheme that we used to live in.
Yes, definitely the world is not like before, and digitization is considered to be the future. Financial markets always shed light on how digitization is really transforming societies today, how companies worldwide have to adapt. I guess many questions you've been asked concerning different companies and companies' owners on how to adapt with digital transformation, what they can do in order to keep pace with the change and the rapid change that we are witnessing in the world today.
Yeah, it is super important that you really keep pace, because if you don't keep pace, you're going to be ruled out. You know, there are a lot of examples of people that did not keep pace with the innovations that's been happening. And one of them we mentioned a couple of times before is Kodak, for example, the company Kodak, when they actually did not like the fact that actually the digital photography was out there, and they went bankrupt because they didn't go hand in hand with the digital photography. So digitalization, I have to say that in certain companies, that this is super important that you can keep pace, and you have to make sure that you train your employees. And some people, they are afraid a little bit, and companies, that digitalization is going to take over certain roles in certain companies, which is not the case, by the way, because it's going to work hand in hand. It's only assisting people in certain way.
Yes, definitely affecting people and asserting and having an impact on their life in a pace in a certain way or another. In this episode, we dealt with the financial outlook for the year 2022, and also how digitization is affecting the economy globally. Thank you so much, Mr. Seif Hafez, our global financial expert for tonight. And we'll be resuming our discussion. Mr. Seif, thank you for being with us on how artificial intelligence is also affecting the economies today. A very interesting topic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you, dear viewers, for joining us. Seeing you next week. Until then.